Okay, yay, we get to do another talking video. And this week, my first viewer request. Somebody on my Big Brave contra vlog asked me to do a video about how I got into metal. So that's going to be my video this week is story time. How I got into rock and metal as a black woman. Because, yeah, there's not very many of me out there. So, yay. So I guess, obviously, I will start from when I was a kid. I'm 38 years old now. I'll be 39 in about a week and a half. Yay. Anyway, but so no, I did not grow up around people who listen to like rock and metal. Like, I mean, the most be like as far as like my parents go, like was, okay, my dad might listen to Jimi Hendrix every once in a while, but that's about it. Otherwise, like my parents, they listened to, I guess, stereotypical black music. So like Marvin Gaye, Temptations, OJs, stuff like that. So like, yeah, R&B, soul, funk, stuff like that. That's mostly what my parents listen to. I do have an older sibling who's 2 years older than me. He listens to like gangster rap, like Tupac, Biggie, NWA, shit like that. So no, I was not, my family did not listen to rock and metal. So that's not where I got it from. So for me, how I got exposed to music. So for anybody who's coming across this channel randomly and who hasn't read my channel bio, I'm a blind person. You're like, what the fuck does this have to do with music, Reva? So for me, how people felt about the TV is how I felt about listening to the radio. When radio was actually relevant, kids. Not how radio is now, when this is before the internet. So I used to love to listen to the radio. Listen to the radio all the time. Obviously, the rest of my family is sighted people, so I did watch some TV, but what meant more to me was the radio. And for me, music, no matter what music I was listening to, was something that I really got into. So as far as my musical journey, yes, obviously, when I was young, obviously, there was all the pop music stuff that was around. So this would have been like the late 90s. So yeah, all like the boy band stuff, like what, Backstreet Boys, Hanson, NSYNC, whatever. This would have been like when I was at what, 8, 9, 10, round about there. Actually won tickets to the Backstreet Boys off the radio. Told you I listen to the radio a lot. But either way, it's not metal. But either way, but listening to music a whole bunch. This would have been like the mid 90s. I also started to get into stuff like, I guess would have been like the Lilith Fair, pop folk, whatever you want to call it. But all this stuff like Sarah McLachlan, Sheryl Crow, Natalie Merchant, Paula Cole, Jewel, all that stuff. And I thought it was really cool. It's like, oh my God, these women like play guitar and write songs. Because yeah, I would attempt to write songs when I was a kid. Albeit my parents were very, very broken, didn't have the money to get me an instrument until I was about 10, 11 in there. But I remember when I was real young, like I wanted to play, like I wanted to play piano, I wanted to play flute, I wanted to play guitar. When I was like 7, 8, but we were very, very broke, so that wasn't going to happen. But anyway, but I thought that was really, really cool. Like, oh, these women, they sing and they write songs and they play guitar. I want to do that. So, well, how does this go to the radio, Reva? So with the radio at the time, this is before alternative radio was formulaic and terrible. Again, when radio was actually relevant. That type of stuff, the Jewel, Paula Cole, Sarah McLachlan, Natalie Merchant, would also get played on the alternative radio stations, right? So listen to those, and then I would also start hearing the stuff of the time, like Veruca Salt, Hole, Garbage. Garbage is still my most favorite band. Actually, the day this is going up, it's going to be Shirley Manson's birthday, which I'll be celebrating tomorrow. It's a holiday in my world. But either way. So all that like Lilith Fair type stuff led to me listening to more alternative stuff. So Garbage, Hole, Veruca Salt. I guess Our Lady Peace are kind of being that too. Yeah, so that's what led to that, which also with alternative radio at the time, this kind of was more going towards when I was about 10 or 11. So like 97, 98. A lot of some of the more hard rock stuff started getting played on the alternative station. Same thing vice versa, some of the alternative stuff would get played on the hard rock station. Because I remember like whole Celebrity Skin, that would get played on the alternative radio station, but it would also get played on the hard rock station in town. So I'm like, okay. So it's like, okay. So I started listening to that. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's a little louder, but it's cool. And I'm pretty sure you can guess by my age, you know what's coming here. Nu metal. Yep, nu metal. I know there's a couple of friends of mine watching this who totally give me shit for that, but nu metal is the metal that got me into metal. So yeah, all those bands, Stained, Slipknot, Seven Dust, though I kind of debate whether Seven Dust is nu metal or not, but that's a whole nother discussion for another time. Incubus, all those bands, like, oh, this is cool. This is awesome. It's heavier, it's louder, and also, with the nu metal stuff, them singing about not happy things was more gelling with me at the time and where I was and the shit that was going on and how some of the shit that's still going on in my life. And so it's like, oh, hey, like these people are singing about things that people are like, shut up and don't talk about. I want to listen to these people. So yeah. So where the screaming started, like where I started listening to stuff where there was more screaming than melody. And here we go again, but you know this if you've actually watched some of the earlier videos on my channel. The band Kitty. That was the one where we go, oh my God, especially when Fallon was in the band, because obviously she was black, and I did have enough vision at the time to see that. And it was like, oh my God! Because obviously they weren't too much older than me at the time, because this would have been when I was about 12. Because I actually remember when I went to the record store, I was a messed up child, okay? I had this lady that was supposed to be like this therapist mentor thing, because I was in juvenile court at the time, and I had her take me to the record store, and I bought Spit from Kitty. I had to call my parents because it had a parental advisory sticker on it, and my parents were like, okay, she can buy it. We don't have a problem with it, because as I mentioned, my brother listened to gangster rap, so they had, at least at that point, they had seen CDs with parental advisory stickers on them. So yeah, anyway, Kitty, yeah, hearing Brackets for the first time when Fallon was in the band and seeing her like, oh my God, there's another black girl that like is like has a really cool guitar and has cool hair and she just has an awesome attitude and makes probably really inappropriate jokes and interviews and stuff like that, but still it's like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I was just like, nu metal what the metal that got me in. So yeah, for me, like as far as like screaming and stuff like that, Stain and Kitty and Slipknot were the bands that got me, where it's like, okay, singing and screaming, right. So yeah. So as we go on, so it's like, okay, nu metal is cool, singing and screaming. And as I mentioned, I was a messed up child, so I wasn't at home for a lot of my teenage years. So I was bouncing between home and like foster homes and group homes or whatever. And there was a radio station up here. It still exists, by the way. KFAI. And I was listening where I live at. I live in the suburbs of Minneapolis. You could only kind of get it sometimes at the time. But a group home I was in South Minneapolis, you could get the station really, really good. And obviously there, they had nothing for you to do. Like, especially like, because I wasn't even going to school there, because they didn't have special ed. Like they didn't have like, at the time I could read large print, but I can't anymore. But Braille, large print, nothing. They had nothing for me to do. So I wasn't even going to school. So like, it's not like I could read books or anything like that. So it's like, okay, I guess we'll listen to the radio, which they would always take my radio from me, which I'm still fucking mad, and my CDs. Ew, it's inappropriate. But it's totally okay for the other kids to listen to fucking gangster rap. Anyway, sorry, rambling. But we're like, where does this station come into it? As I mentioned, the alternative stuff. So the station KFAI, they're still around. They've been around for like 50 years up here. They had like alternative and punk shows. Specifically, there was a punk show called Radio Riot. That show isn't around anymore. The host of it, Abby, she's still on the station. She has a show on Sunday night. Anyway, but yeah, so like found a lot of underground punk stuff. Same thing with some of their other late night shows at the time. We're playing some of the more like indie alternative stuff. So like Sleater Kinney, the Donnas. This is like American teenage rock and roll machine Donnas, not when the Donnas got signed to a major label Donnas. And just other various more like independent underground type stuff. So got into all that type of stuff. And yeah, let's not talk about Sleater Kinney now. Yeah, let's really not talk about Sleater Kinney now. Yeah, 11-year-old me would have been really sad. Anyway, what they're doing now. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, but you're like, well, where does metal come in? So I ended up being up really late on a Saturday night. Well, Saturday going to Sunday morning, because again, I would always have to try to sneak in, because I had a Walkman. I had like a headphone radio thing, whatever, and try to sneak and listen to the radio, because this is all I had to do. And there was a show on Saturday going into Sunday morning, and called The Root All Evil. It's still on, by the way. The show's existed since before I was born. It's the longest running independent radio, metal show. Like, it's been on for 40 years, so longer than I've been alive. The man who started it, Earl Root, he passed away, unfortunately, in 2008, but people, a wonderful crew of people still run it, in his honor. But you're probably like, well, what does this have to do with metal? That show is how I found the more heavier underground stuff. Of course, like the first time, a couple times I turned into it, it was like doing like the hour where you play like Porno Grind and Brutal Slam and all that, which even still now, to be fair, I'm not necessarily into like Porno Grind and Brutal Slam. I like grindcore, but I like my grindcore to actually have substance to it. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm not really into the people singing about, decapitating the bitch and, dead baby, fertilizer or whatever. But it's like, okay, but I guess I'll keep listening. But where it really clicked for me is that the last hour of the show, it was the root of the not so evil. Because they used to be before a gospel show, so it's like so we don't scare the people or tuning in early for the for the gospel show. They would play stuff that that wasn't as angry, explicit, whatever you want to call it, and that's where the underground stuff started to click for me. So like stuff like Lacuna Coil, because the first Lacuna Coil song I heard, "To Live Is to Hide," was on The Root All Evil. That's where I found The Gathering, Therion, Within Temptation, After Forever, like all those like gothic, symphonic, type bands. And for me, I'm like, wait, there's rock music with opera vocals? Oh my God, this is awesome. Cause yeah, I was a weird kid. Other people had their Barbies playing house. My Barbie sang opera. So finding like metal with opera vocals and like choirs, oh my God, this is cool. So that's what made it click for me. And then also I ended up finding other bands through the route, like Arch Enemy. This would have been on Wages of Sin before they really blew up over here on Anthems of Rebellion. And like Crisis and just so many other bands. I could go on and on and on about the amount of bands that the Root All Evil has helped me find, over the years when Earl was alive and even, since he's passed. But that was definitely a huge thing for me. Because if it wasn't for that show, I would still be listening to like mainstream stuff. I would have never found like all the underground stuff, like with the grindcore and, death metal or stoner doom and any of that. So that was a huge part of me finding all like the heavier stuff. So and also if you ever wonder, if you watch my concert vlogs, which I'll throw, I'll pin a comment with my concert vlogs. If you want to hear me talk about metal, you can see the shows I go to. That if you wonder where I got the I'm on a morph da 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 and the Demon Burger with the Cradle Fries. That's all from Earl. Earl, we miss you. You've ruined my mind for all eternity, but we miss your sense of humor. You're an awesome man. No one ever got to meet him. I did very briefly talk to him on the phone when I was like a teenager. I would call him, basically be like, can you play Night Wish? Click. And that'd be about it. Because I was a very nervous, scared teenager. Probably not even a teenager at the time. But yeah. So basically, all intents and purposes, for me, the radio was a huge part of me getting into like rock and metal because I was always somebody who was always into music. I mean, even now, like, like for me, like music is my hobby. It is my main interest. It always has been. I will even for music that I don't like. Obviously, I love metal and rock and punk and all that. That's what I love. That's what I always will love. But even for artists, I will watch interviews with artists I don't like. I like knowing a bunch of facts about music, even if it's stuff that I don't like. I mean, the prime example, do I like Taylor Swift? Fuck no. Can I probably talk to a Taylor Swift fan? Yeah, because I'm weird and I just like knowing about music. Always have, always will, even if it's stuff that I don't particularly care for. So yeah. But yeah, so for me, the radio played a huge part of it. I didn't have the internet because my parents were fucking technophobic boomers. So even once like the internet started, I didn't have that. So later in my teenage years, metal magazines, I did have a subscription to Revolver. I know I had like Metal Edge and Metal Maniacs for a while too. Albeit at the time I could kind of read very slowly, but I still would read the metal magazines. Do that. So like I said, so internet, obviously when Headbangers Ball came around, when that came back in 2003, obviously watched that when we actually finally got MTV2. I have about 4 years of it on tape, by the way. Yeah, the few good memories of my teenage years, Headbangers Ball and all the metal magazines, which I still have those too. It's not hoarding if you actually still enjoy it. God damn it. But a huge part of me for music and music discovery was the radio. Absolutely, 1000%. So basically just not being afraid to be like, oh, hey, this sounds cool. This sounds cool. I like this. And then also with metal, it also helped, hearing people sing about things that people tell you, shut up, don't talk about that. This is wrong. That made me attracted to it more, of course, because it's like, wait, and then even getting to see people who are completely different than me and, thought different things that I never would have been exposed to if I would have just stayed in the bubble that people wanted me to. So yeah. But yeah, the radio was an absolutely huge part of getting into rock and metal and punk and all that. And so, yeah. So that is basically how I got into metal. I don't know if there's anything else that y'all would want to know about this or if there's any more questions. If there is, hey, my comments are open. If you have any more questions, same thing, or you can follow me on Instagram, DM me there. My email also is in my channel and will be in the video description if you want to contact me or ask questions or, hey, submit any more requests like this video was. So yay! Also, if you want to be nice to me, you can also send me things through those links in my description and channel description too. Anyway, but that's how I got into metal. Was the radio was a very, very, very huge part of that. So again, I grew up before the internet. My family was poor, so no computer stuff for me. And my parents were stupid technophobic fucking boomers. But anyway, so that's the video for this week. I will have a concert vlog next week for Butcher Babies. But I might do something else too. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Otherwise, I will talk to y'all soon. So bye.